Hi everyone, welcome to ENC 3371 Rhetorical Theory and Practice. In this video I just want to give you a quick overview of our Canvas website and our syllabus so you have a little bit of an understanding of what to expect overall in this course. So starting off, this is our Canvas website, and you'll notice that it has a very similar structure to what you're going to see in other FIU online courses. Our overall navigation is over here on the left. You have an upcoming to-do list here on the right. Then there's just some additional information in the center. If you head over to our course syllabus, you're going to find a lot of information here. First, you're going to find some information about what the course is about and what you're going to learn in the course. I just would take a moment to look over this information as it'll just situate you a little bit in terms of what we're trying to do in this course. Down farther, you're going to find some information about our textbook. Our textbook is Rhetorical Theory by Timothy Borchers and Heather Hundley. I'd highly recommend getting the second edition. The cover looks like this, and the main reason is because it has additional content that we're going to be using in this class beyond what's in the first edition. If you go down a little bit farther, you're going to find some information about our various assignments in the course. The course is basically structured into an introductory phase through the first 4 weeks, where we're going to be covering most of the rhetorical content and rhetorical theory in the course. And then after that, we're going to move into a longer project over the last 2 weeks. So I'll walk you through this a little bit more once we get into the actual modules. Down below this, you can find a breakdown of the grading, and then some information on the course policies. At the bottom of the syllabus, you should be able to find an overall course summary where you can see the breakdown of the assignment due dates day by day. You'll notice that in general, we only have one thing due on any given day, and there's usually about 2 to 3 days in between assignments. The only exception to this is every other unit, we're going to have a reflection that's going to be due on the same day as the activity. Again, I'll walk you through this a little bit more in the modules, but mainly I just want to point this out here to let you get ready for it and prepare for it. It should be relatively easy to manage those two at once though, and it only happens twice during the semester. Now I just would like to walk you through our modules page to give you an idea of what each week is going to look like. Each of our first 4 modules follows the same structure and lasts exactly 1 week. The modules will include a reading quiz, a discussion post, and an activity. There's also an introduction at the beginning of each module. It'll give you a quick overview of the module. It'll give you any additional resources beyond our textbook that you need. And it's going to give you a few reading questions just to help you think about the content of the chapter as you read. You'll notice that each of these modules asks you to read 3 chapters from their textbook. So there's going to be a lot of reading at the beginning of every week. And you'll want to do all of this reading before the reading quiz. So that's going to be a pretty busy time of the week, but at the same time, it's going to allow us to start to think about the connections between the chapters pretty easily. So going back to the module pages, you'll find that the reading quizzes are generally pretty short. There's about 1 question per chapter per reading quiz, so about 3 questions per reading quiz. And basically what the questions ask you to do is they ask you to explain some of the rhetorical concepts back in your own words. So realistically what I'm looking for here is mainly just a conceptual grasp of the concepts. The discussions on Friday ask you to do a little bit more than just have a conceptual grasp. They ask you to really engage with different questions where you might be taking different perspectives or opinions on topics than your classmates, and really to try and engage in a discussion. For each of these discussions, you're going to be expected to respond to at least 2 of the questions, and I'll also ask you to only respond when you can add something to the discussion. So don't respond just to repeat what's already been said or to agree with somebody, but build on other ideas, disagree with people, expand on things. Really try to engage in the discussion, actively contribute to it, because that's what I'll be looking for in the grading rubric for this. And then finally we have our activities. The activities each week are going to ask you to take one of the theories and to apply it in making or analyzing a real rhetorical text. So you're always going to have 2 options for this. The options will take up different rhetorical theories from our readings and just ask you to create something. Usually it will ask you to create something about a 500 to 750 word document each week. The final thing that you should know about from our modules is that every other module, module 2, 4, and 5, because module 5 is a 2-week module, you'll be asked to complete a reflection. The reflections basically ask you to look back over your work thus far this semester and to think about how your conceptions of rhetoric have changed over time. I always include a few prompt questions on these just to give you a little place to start. Our final module for the semester, module 5 down here at the bottom, is our extended assignment for the semester. It's the rhetorical production assignment, and it'll take you through the last 2 weeks of the course. There's going to be a number of different steps to this assignment, including initial proposal, an annotated bibliography, a first draft, and a final draft, and then we'll wrap up the semester with one more reflection. I'll go into this project in a lot more detail in a later video, but for now what you should really know is that the project asks you to do some research into a specific rhetorical theory and to communicate information about that research to an audience that might not be typical for our class. Audiences like young children or working professionals, people who might not be engaging in the same types of academic discussions that we are here. So that's about it for the semester. Hopefully this video helps you see the overall structure of the course a little bit more, but do let me know if you have any questions about it as we get started.